Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley if you are new here, and in this video I wanted to review the Gather Round preschool unit in the air. If you are unfamiliar with Gather Round, they have a preschool program that is 4 units long, and the first 2 units go through the alphabet A through Z, and then the last 2 units go through it again. So when my son and I started doing preschool this year, we started with the 3rd unit, which I also reviewed on my channel if you're interested, and we are almost finished with this unit, so I thought I would do another review on this one. After I do our pros and cons of it, I thought I would do a little bit of a flip through as well, in case you wanted to see a bit more of what is inside. So the first thing that I really liked about this unit in particular, but also just the way that the program is in general, so this pertains to In the Jungle as well, is I really enjoy the way that the lessons are written. I feel like they are written in such a way that my son is able to retain the information, but it's not written super simply. I like the vocabulary that they use. I like that they don't speak down to the child because it's obviously a preschool course. I feel like it could be written very like kiddie, if that makes any sense. I did also review the Good and the Beautiful preschool course, and I sort of feel like they speak like that a little bit, where this one it's interesting even to me the way that it's written. Like I even learned things from it. So yeah, that's the first thing that I really like, is I feel like it expands his vocabulary. He learns new words and it stretches him in a way, but it doesn't stretch too much where he's not understanding, if that makes any sense. The next thing that I really liked about this unit is that I really like the level of the math in the preschool program, specifically the last 2 units. I feel like it's the perfect level for my son. It keeps him engaged, it's teaching him things. It's not too simple, although it's not too hard either. It's not like every single lesson is something that's really challenging him or pushing him. So there are like easier lessons that he gets easily, and then there are harder lessons that really teach him things, but in a way that is easy for him to understand. I feel like it is, I guess, technically maybe a bit advanced for preschool. I also had bought the math kindergarten book, and we were going through that a little bit. We made it through to lesson 27 before we paused, just because we started doing something else and I wanted to wait to do it until he officially starts kindergarten. And because there's math in these programs, I didn't think it was 100% necessary for us to keep doing it, but the math in the Gather Round preschool is pretty on par for what is in the Good and the Beautiful math kindergarten. Now, I will say probably the kindergarten math goes a bit more in depth. It's not like it's exactly the same, but the concepts, a lot of the concepts are the same, and he's really enjoyed it, and I feel like it's really taught him a lot. Another thing that I really liked about it was that I really enjoyed how, as the units went on, the beginning, say, of Unit 3 through till the end of Unit 4, I really like how they got progressively harder, where they built off of each other, and it wasn't just the same level throughout. So I feel like it really taught my son and grew his knowledge in like different things like phonics and math. For example, with phonics in the beginning, he was only just learning letter sounds, and now towards the end of In the Air, he is learning how to blend letters and read CVC words. So I really enjoy that. And then the same thing like I was talking about with the math. It started out more simple and then kind of built off of each other, which was really awesome. So one other thing that I did want to share about it before I get to the one thing that was not my favorite is just that we really enjoyed it, just like we enjoyed In the Jungle. We enjoyed the learning about the different animals. We enjoyed it being familiar, and the way that everything was set up, it obviously stayed the same. So overall, we really did enjoy this program, and I would definitely recommend it if you are considering buying it, especially if your child is really into science-y things, specifically learning about animals and the environment and that sort of a thing. So I did also want to share something that was just kind of not our favorite when it came to this program. I wouldn't go so far as to say we didn't like this, because we did. This is just something that I noticed that we didn't like as much as, say, In the Jungle. So with In the Jungle, the way that it was formatted was it was 4-day weeks, and you learned about 2 animals a week. So the first 2 days you learned about one animal, and then the last 2 days you learned about the second animal. And with In the Air, the way that it worked was it was 2 animals a week, but the first 2 days you learned about the first animal, and then the third day you only learned about the second animal one day, and then the fourth day it was more about something else, like a machine or something that was in the air that wasn't an animal, like for example an airplane, a helicopter, hot air balloons, that sort of a thing. Pilots we learned about. So I liked this and I disliked this. I liked it because it obviously gave more variety to this. It wasn't just about animals. I will say that like it wasn't my favorite because of how much my son loves animals, and he was definitely engaged for those lessons, but he's just not into that stuff as much as he's into animals. So I personally would have preferred, I think, if they just stuck with the format of In the Jungle where we were only learning about animals. But at the same time, I can see the pros of learning about airplanes and that sort of thing. I liked teaching that to my sons. So yeah, I have mixed feelings about it. So then the other thing that pertains to that I didn't particularly love is that because we were doing things like learning about things like airplanes and helicopters and that sort of thing. They actually also did weather, which was cool. They did like extreme weather types like hurricanes and blizzards and that sort of thing. So that was cool also to teach him. But when it came to all of this is that like there was a lot more supplies that I was not expecting that I would need. And I didn't really read the beginning as in depth as I would have if I hadn't done In the Jungle already, because I assumed it was going to be sort of like exactly the same, needing the same type of supplies, which for In the Jungle, you really didn't need much at all. You just needed like something to color with, a glue stick, scissors, obviously a pencil, that kind of a thing, and that was it. Where this one, for a lot of the lessons, well, I wouldn't say a lot, but for some of the lessons, you needed various different things on top of those things, like they're normal household objects, but like cotton balls, clear glue, plastic bags, and of course the week we got to where we were doing parachutes and we needed a plastic bag, I had run out of plastic bags. I didn't have clear glue because I had glue sticks. So you get the picture. We needed more supplies, which obviously was my own fault for not paying attention to that in the beginning and preparing for that, but I am like not that type of mom where I just have a whole bunch of art supplies. Maybe eventually I will, but since this is our first year homeschooling, I really didn't have that sort of thing. So we couldn't do some of the stuff, or we had to go back and do it later, which is not a big deal, but it wasn't my favorite. So now I'm just going to show you a little bit inside. I'll do a flip through and show you what they are learning in their student books, that sort of a thing. Okay, so here is a look at the teacher's guide. At this point, I was still printing them out and just putting them in a 3-ring binder. So it starts off with a note to the teacher, how to use the book, how long it will take, the supply list, which actually now that I'm looking at this, it doesn't tell you that you need those supplies that I was saying we did not have. So if I had looked a bit deeper, I still wouldn't have seen it. The table of contents. And then just like In the Jungle, it always starts with a week overview of what they're going to learn. And then it is just 4 lessons. It goes through, there's the lesson, the questions, which I really enjoyed the questions. I feel like they were perfect in that they didn't go too deep, but they were helpful in knowing that my son was listening. And then a very small Bible study. So then at the end of the week, there is always a review. It will give you a few questions you can ask your child and then an optional activity. I will say that we never did the optional activities, or very, very rarely did we do these, although they do seem really fun, the ones that I did look at. And then there's always a prayer. So then week 2. So I'm just going to flip through a little bit, so in case you want to get an idea of what types of animals and that sort of thing. And I will say too that the pictures are just like in the jungle, they're just amazing. That is one of my very favorite things about this preschool curriculum, is that the pictures and the aesthetics of it are they're just so nice. It was definitely one of the things that really drew me to this curriculum. And here is a little look at the student book A, and then I will show you the student book B as well. So keep in mind we did finish this, so that the lessons will be completed. They did shapes and 10 frames, which I really liked. Pairs that made 10, which was also really good. There was quite a lot of safety in this course. So I mentioned in the jungle we didn't like these little books. I realized part of the problem was that they were set up to be printed double-sided, and I didn't print them that way, so I wasn't able to really put them together. But I decided in this curriculum, in the air one, we would just skip them. We wouldn't even bother printing them out. I mean, cutting them out and filling them out. So that's why they're still in here. So for the student book B, I will show you a little bit in the beginning and then a little bit at the end, so that you can kind of get an idea of, like I showed you, how it progresses and how it kind of builds off of each other. I always really loved these life cycles of the different animals. The pictures were just really nice on them, and I thought it was a really cool way of teaching these concepts. So here, like I was showing you, or like I was telling you, they started reading 3-letter words. I will say too, something that wasn't quite my favorite is how simple the Bible worksheets were. A lot of them were just color this picture, and my son doesn't really love coloring, so I think I would have liked something a bit more in depth for the Bible. So I'm going to skip through to the end so you can see what it looks like at the end too. So also, just so you are aware, we have 3 weeks left in this curriculum, so the end is not 100% filled out. So here's a good example of where they would have to match the letter that it begins with to the picture here. So that is a more advanced phonics concept that they did not do in the beginning, obviously. Here's another life cycle. So just so that you guys are aware too, I am intending to finish this. We just kind of jumped ahead to burrows and holes for now. And because I felt like my son was ready to start that, and we had about 9 weeks left of our school year, and the burrows and holes one was exactly 9 weeks. So we put this on pause to start that, and we are going to do this slowly throughout the summer, just kind of pick it up here and there, because I do really want to finish it. I do really like completing things, and we really do enjoy this program. So it'll be a bit nostalgic, even though it wasn't that long since we did it, but I am excited to finish these. So that is going to be it for this video. I hope that it was helpful. If you have any other questions about it, please don't hesitate to leave a comment below. I will definitely get back to you. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.